Okay, so I'm gonna.
Welcome to the Beyond Social Media Show, episode 127. We're figuring out Blab and all its little idiosyncrasies and kinks. So we are recording live on Blab. This is the podcast for marketing, advertising, public relations, and communications professionals. It is January 24th, 2016. We always start off with the worst stories of the week, of the past week that happened in marketing communications, and BL, you have the honors. You always start off with the worst story. So what was it?
Well, this week, the worst story was definitely Donald Trump saying that he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and he wouldn't lose any of his supporters. I mean, this man is just so over the top. And he was at a rally at Dordt College in Sioux Center, Iowa, and he bragged about how loyal his supporters are. And he said, "They say I have the most loyal people," Trump said, "where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters." Okay. And my favorite response to that came from somebody who uses the Twitter handle Elocutner. And he said, "People who think real Donald Trump shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue comment was outrageous, have no sense of humor. Why they're getting schlonged."
I think the guy is, I mean, it's probably true. He probably could shoot somebody and not lose supporters. But you know, I mean, clearly he's probably going to win a PR of the year award because he's a master media manipulator. He says the more and more outrageous things. He guarantees coverage. He's absolutely dominating all the coverage. He's probably spending he's probably spending nothing on paid media. It's ridiculous.
He started to advertise. He has.
Well, I mean, comparatively speaking, compared to like Bush,
the guys,
he's spending nothing. So the guy knows how to get media coverage, and for what he's trying to accomplish, he's being successful at it. We'll see how long it can last, but so far it's working for him, working big time.
Yeah, well. So, SD3, who are you? And thank you for your help. Okay, so do you want to start with one of yours, Dave, or do you want me to give you another one?
No, give me another one.
Okay, well, there's a study that came out this week that Media Post covered, saying that most CEOs are still not on social media. It was by a software company called Domo, and they looked at the CEOs of the Fortune 500, and they found only 39% of them have any presence at all on the big six social networks, and that's up from 7% last year. But they're looking at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Google+. I don't know why anybody's looking at Google+ anymore, but there is no Fortune 500 CEO active on all six of them. And, you know, they're not going to set the social media world on fire, but there really is a need for that authentic voice. And it's got to come from the CEO. And, you know, we all have clients, and you know how hard it is to get any of them to want to put in the time to do what has to get done to have a voice in social media. So I don't know the answer.
Yeah, well, we've seen this headline for several years now, right? That the CEOs aren't on social media. I don't expect it to change anytime soon. It's a generational thing. We're not going to have, you know, most of the executives are boomers and late stage or early stage Gen Xers, and they're just, you know, they haven't come up with it. They haven't. It's not their natural medium. So I think it's gonna take time to change. And I mean, not everybody should be on social media. The ones who succeed are the Richard Bransons of the world. You know, it's like we'll see what happens. But yeah, I agree they should be. It's just I don't see it happening anytime soon. I got a scary story. This is my worst story of the week.
Okay.
It's about the Internet of Things. And so it's a cautionary tale about the security of the Internet of Things. This is by from an Ars Technica story by J.M. Porup. And basically, there's a search engine called Shodan, which is an Internet of Things search engine. that recently launched a section in which users can easily browse video screenshots, basically of vulnerable webcams. So
Really?
the feed includes webcam images of marijuana plantations, of back rooms of banks, of children sleeping, of living rooms, of colleges and schools, laboratories, retail stores. So the cameras are vulnerable because they use real-time streaming protocol to share videos, but there's no password authentication in place. So it really illustrates the lack of security in
That's
Internet of
terrible.
Things devices. Check your webcams. Part of the problem is people don't want to pay for the security. They don't think it applies to them. And so, I mean, webcams are as low as high quality webcams are as low as $20 now, and they don't include the security. And if it's not going to make money for the people who are selling them, and if people aren't demanding the security, then why should they provide it, right? So
I have
there's
such
that.
complicated passwords
Exactly.
on everything,
Yep.
because you kind of have to. But
But
wow,
that's really sort of the tip of the iceberg too with the Internet of Things, because it's not just webcams that are attached to the internet. Everything's attached to the internet now, including
refrigerator,
controllers of devices that regulate the electricity grid, for
the
example.
heat in your house and all. Yeah, I mean, wow, that's really a scary story. I hate that. So I my friend Angela Natividad, who is one of the coolest people on the internet, I wrote a blog post about this. She, for some reason, was looking to see what the FBI had in their files on her, and she came across their website has a fun and games section for kids. And we'll put the link in the show notes, but you go there and watch the dog at the bottom of the page. Watch him closely, and that's really very fun. But they have in this fun and games section tools of the trade, which are like machine guns and helmets and really scary stuff. And it's for kids, and it's the FBI. Hello.
Yeah. I don't know. I grew up with playing with guns and stuff, so I don't really, it doesn't really bother me. I mean,
That
not real
explains a
guns.
lot.
Playing with play guns. I make that perfectly clear, but that doesn't really bother. Hey, you got to start recruiting early. There's a lot of demand for
I guess
employment
they
these days.
do. So, guys, I'm a little one-handed today because I broke my arm last night. But as I told Dave, I wasn't feeling any better just laying around the house. So we went on with the show. I'm feeling like a trooper at the moment.
The show must go
You don't
on.
want to hear me sing, so you do it.
Yeah, well, it's good. I mean, you need to come up with a story of how you broke your arm better than what you have, because
Yeah, skydiving. I was
there you go,
skydiving in the
there you go, right
snowstorm.
there.
That's what I was doing. So I believe that brings us to better news, of which we have quite a bit, huh?
Yeah, we do. I've got a wonderful story. If you haven't seen it by now, you better start looking for it. Tien, is that the name
Oh,
of the
the
panda?
panda.
Yeah, the panda at the National Zoo goes viral. So this is Twitter. The National Zoo in DC posted a 15-second video clip of Tien the panda frolicking in the snow. So just diving into the snow, sliding down, pulling snow over his head, her head. I don't even know.
Pure joy.
And
Absolute
yeah,
pure
just
joy.
absolutely having a blast playing around in the snow. And obviously, the video went viral. As of today, 166,900 retweets, 169,600 likes. So you definitely need to check that out. We'll have a link to the video in the show notes after the show. There's also a parody video. There's
That's the
Jeffrey
best.
Perez in Maryland dressed up as a panda. So he's in a panda outfit, and he did a parody video on Instagram that is exactly what the panda was doing, but it's this guy dressed in a panda outfit. It's very clever.
It's
So,
really adorable. It
yeah.
really is. I got such a big kick out of it. And it's one of those things you want to watch over and over again
Uh-huh.
because it's so adorable. So, the other thing that was quite adorable was Tina Fey's Sarah Palin endorsement of Trump on Saturday Night Live last night, which I had to watch after I got back from the hospital today because That's where I was. But I have to just say something about New York City, and I Trump supporters. In New York City, in the blizzard, when cars got stuck and people were stuck, what did we New Yorkers do? We pushed them and we helped them and we helped each other. And last night, astoundingly, the whole city was shut down. It was bizarre because there was no noise, and there's never no noise in New York. But an ambulance came and got me in under 5 minutes. I mean,
that is amazing.
it
I
was.
mean, considering everything that we've been watching on the news,
Yeah.
you wouldn't expect that. So,
Yeah, with handsome firemen and everything.
well, aren't they all?
Yeah, they are, and they cook too. I love them.
So speaking of the Snowzilla,
Yeah.
another aspect of that story was we've all been watching the news and the weather, and everybody, Minnesotans like us, talk about the weather all the time. It's like our introduction small talking points thing, the weather. So we're used to talking about it. But anyway, NASA has released photos of Snowzilla from the space station. So they have imagery of the storm over the East Coast, and it honestly, the imagery of it is right out of the movie The Day After Tomorrow, that
Could you
2004.
see lightning?
I didn't see lightning, no, but there's this huge cloud of just white covering the whole East Coast, and so the 2004 disaster flick, the Day After Tomorrow, it looks exactly like that. The movie, if you don't know it, is about climate change, comes early and basically plunges the planet into a new ice age. And there's one scene from the movie that shows the United States from the space station, and the image looks exactly like what NASA just shared with us
Oh
this
my.
week.
So I want to
Some
ask you a question, Dave. When you were giving, and not everybody knows, when you were giving the statistics on how many tweets and retweets and all of that, would you share with people what platform you were getting those from?
That was from Twitter.
That was Twitter's analytics. Okay.
Yep.
I thought it was BuzzSumo.
No, it was Twitter. It was from the individual tweet, so it wasn't encompassing everybody, but it was from the NASA or from the National Zoo tweet that I got those.
Okay.
So it's probably a lot more. Other things from Snowzilla too. NBC correspondent Jacob Raskin was sharing a video reporting from Jersey Shore of the flooding, and he was doing a tour in the Humvee. So there's video on his Twitter account, which is pretty amazing. Kylie Kelly, a swimmer with the Frederick area swim team, posted a video of her and her friend in swimsuits diving into a snowbank like they're diving into a swimming pool. It was very, very, very
There
funny.
were some great periscopes and really terrific ones all over the place.
There's another one, lastly, snowboarding with the NYPD was a trending topic on Twitter today. And that's because YouTube star Casey Neistat, he's a snowboarder. He created a video of him snowboarding through the streets of New York City, being towed by a Jeep Wrangler, set to the music of course, Frank Sinatra's "New York, New York." And the video begins with a news report that the NYPD is going to be arresting anybody who is on the streets during the storm out driving. And it closes with this guy getting pulled over by the New York Police Department while he's snowboarding through the streets. They pull him over to express their admiration for him, not to arrest him. So that video had 492,000 views as of when I checked earlier today. Neistat has 1.9 million YouTube subscribers on his channel, so he's got a lot of critical mass to make his videos go viral. But it's pretty clever.
Cool. So there was something fascinating that I came across online this weekend. It was the 2016 Cannabis Health Summit, and it was a 2-day online event, and it was physicians and researchers, and they were presenting on health topics about cannabis, medical marijuana, and its uses in cancer, epilepsy, addiction, PTSD, arthritis. And they were presenting scientific papers with studies, and I'm sure you can, watch the replays on the website. We'll have a link in the show notes, but that was pretty interesting.
It's amazing how that topic has changed fairly rapidly. I mean, I guess since I was a kid, it's taken a long time, but attitudes have changed in recent memory very quickly on that. So,
Yeah,
uh,
well, I mean, then we'll see. I mean, even when they make it legal, you can't actually get any. But they're starting to use medical marijuana for animals, and in fact, our vet is looking into it for my dog because he has epilepsy.
wow, okay, all
So
right.
maybe he'd share with me. I don't know.
And just stay away from the stash.
I have this in good news because I think it's interesting how much more there is even after this. Google had released a report this week that they have blocked 780 million bad ads, they call them, up from 524 million the year before. And what they're saying is that it's their annual state of the ad business, and their ability to block ads that carry malware or deceptive or disruptive. They feel like and I hate this, when ads block the content you're trying to see, they call that a bad ad. And 780 million ads blocked for policy violations last year. And they suspended over 10,000 sites, 18,000 accounts belonging to counterfeiters, blocked 12.5 pharmaceutical ads, including those making misleading claims or weren't actually approved for use about weight loss, and promising. They suspended 30,000 sites that promised that you would lose weight without dieting, or get ripped without exercise. And these are a threat. And there are still, I mean, my content is scraped by this guy, and he just takes my RSS feed and runs it, and does not link back to me. And I'm one of millions of people that happens to. And there's not a damn thing you seem to be able to do to stop it. I've made the DMCC complaint and all that, but nothing happens.
So this is mostly malicious ads, basically.
Malicious ads, and ones that the ones that pop up and block content that you're trying to see. They have that in that category,
So
which
they don't conform to Google advertising usability guidelines, basically, too.
essentially, yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I mean, look how many there are. 780 is a lot of millions.
Well, that's an instance of somebody in the advertising industry actually taking responsibility for advertising, not wrecking it for the rest of us advertisers. So good on them.
Yeah.
I've got another one. The big fan I am of Amazon Echo. I have an Amazon Echo, and we talked about it on our podcast in previous episodes. But there's a new feature. They keep adding features, which makes it wonderful. Now they have the ability to, Amazon has the ability to read Kindle books from your Amazon
Do
Echo.
you out loud?
Yes, out loud. So this is this. I got this first from an email from Amazon telling me about the feature, but this is from a Verge story by Nick Stat about the feature. So you just say, Alexa, read my book, and you recite the title, and Alexa's robot voice will start reading the book. It's different from Audible.com, which is owned by Amazon, of course. Audible.com, you can listen to your Audible books on Amazon Echo, but that's the actual recording of the Audible narration. So it's not that. It is the robot voice, but you can have Alexa read to you. The commands include pause, go forward, rewind, resume reading. Unlike Audible, you can't jump to a specific chapter in the book, but it does sync your place between your devices. So I can have Alexa read to me and then go back to my Kindle and actually read and pick up where she left off, right? She left off.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm constantly dropping bookmarks out of my books and going back and finding, and then I found out I read that chapter already, because who remembers what you read already when you go back to the book? And, that would be great. I want one. You've convinced me.
That's fantastic. So I plowed through about 20% of Machines of Loving Grace by John Markoff without even realizing it. It was basically 2 sessions of in the morning when I was making breakfast for myself.
Oh, that's so cool.
And all of a sudden I'm 20% into the book, which is a lot more efficient than I would have done just reading it. However, I'm worried about spacing out and not listening while I have it on, which I often do. So you really got to be paying attention to make it work. But the other thing that sort of the other topic to this that fascinates me is I don't know why Amazon doesn't open up their platform to podcasters. I mean, they've got everything in place to do that. They've already got the infrastructure in place. They got web services for hosting. They've got Echo for listening, right? So you could listen to podcasts on your Amazon Echo. They've got Prime Video for video podcasts. They've got author pages and affiliate programs where you could promote yourself as a podcaster. They've got e-commerce, so if you wanted to sell your podcast, sell subscriptions to your podcast, you could do that. They've got reviews, that'd be quality assurance. They've got
Why do you
search
think they don't do it? That
They've got
doesn't make a
search
lot
and
of sense.
recommendation engine for discovery. They've got analytics, so that would be very appealing to podcasters too. I don't know why they do it. It seems like they could just flip the switch and make it available. It would add value to a lot of their products. I don't know.
Well, perhaps they are planning to. I mean, they really put a lot of bookstores out of business. Maybe they're planning to put, well, they own Audible, but maybe they're planning to get rid of some of the other. I mean, there's so many podcast networks that have started up because podcasts are hotter than a match at this moment. And
overnight, they could be one of the biggest podcast networks.
Exactly, which is, again, a little bit scary because of the way that they've impacted on retail in general. They're just too big in my opinion. But anyway, on a fun note, BarkBox, which is a fun company, they have started to make it. They do these dog events where they invite you to their office and bring your dog, and they have a party. And so now what they do is they're a subscription service where you get a monthly box of toys and treats sent to your dog. And see, New York's back, and I don't know if you can hear the sirens, but anyway. But so now what they did was they actually have a landing page where they tell you how to host your own event, and it's really very cool. So you can host dog events and get products from them sent, and they'll help you with the themes and all that sort of thing. And well, my mouse has disappeared. So I thought that was a very clever thing for them to offer to people because we dog owner people are kind of nuts, and we like to. My dog has introduced me to an awful lot of really wonderful people, and there are things in New York. I don't know if they're everywhere else where people have like breed meetups, and so you'll be walking through the park, and there'll be like 40 Great Danes. It's like Jurassic Park, of dogs. So, I mean, that's just a fun thing. I thought that was very clever.
That's very smart. I love BarkBox. I got a
Well,
subscription of for my girlfriend for her dog, and it's very cool. You should
you know who started it? The guy who started Meetup is the guy who started BarkBox.
Well, then it's natural, right?
Yeah, look at this hilarious video that's running on the side.
Dog party.
That is
Thanks,
great.
James.
That's hilarious. I think that you have one more, right?
I got one more. Yeah. So Facebook just rolled out a new feature like 2 days ago or something. It's called Facebook Sports Stadium. And it is all the content on Facebook related to a sports game that is all in one place. So they're rolling it out for the NFL, of course, first. It comes in real time, appears chronology. You can see posts from your friends and their comments on plays, posts and commentary from experts like journalists, live scores, stats, play-by-play. And the play-by-play is not what you imagine play-by-play to be, which is a voiceover of the video action. The play-by-play is actually just a box score. So there's that. They've got game info, but it's kind of what Twitter was already doing with hashtags. So they've got a nice organization. It's only on iOS devices, only on iOS on mobile right now. I tried it out for the Patriots-Broncos game, and yeah, it organizes the content fairly nicely. We'll see how it works, but yeah, they like to adopt a lot of the things that Twitter does. So here's another example.
Yeah, everybody likes to do that and then say Twitter is, terrible. So that brings us to apps, yes?
It does indeed.
Okay, so my friend Cayman Jones, who also was my partner when we started Paw Fun together, published 34 of the best WordPress plugins and how to use them effectively as part of his company Genius Startup. And that's worth a look. They're not all brand new, but there's an awful big range in there, and very cool. So we'll have a link to it.
Very cool. Always can use great WordPress plugins, and some help about how to use them is appreciated as well.
This is a good place to bring up the big book of shiny new objects
Yes, it
that
is. Yep.
people get when they subscribe to the Beyond Social Media Show newsletter. And for those of you who've joined us who don't know about our show, this is episode 127. We've been at it for a long time. We were doing it on Hangouts, and we decided to give it a try in Blab. And it's a little quirky, you know. The recordings don't always process, but they're working on that. I'm told they're working on that. And getting going is a little funky, but here we are, and it's kind of cool today.
Yeah, it's every new platform has its quirks, and you got to kind of deal with them. So, I like the format. I like the fact that you can have side by side video. But yeah, it's doing pretty well. Anyway, we've got an email newsletter, beyondsocialmediashow.com/newsletter, and with that you get an ebook that contains every week we do shiny new objects and cool stuff like we're doing now, and that ebook is updated quarterly, and you get everything, all the cool stuff, all the cool tools that we share and apps that we share. So it's a compilation of that when you subscribe to the newsletter. My cool tool for this week is Code Academy.
I love Code Academy.
Codeacademy.com. They're a fantastic site where you can get free interactive lessons on programming. And so they're basically courses. They're web-based. You sign in with Twitter or Facebook or an email, and then you can get basically it teaches you programming by setting it up in an interactive web environment where on the left side there's the instructions for what you need to do. In the middle is the editor where you enter all of your work, and on the right hand side is a browser where you can see the results of your work. And so it's a great little environment, takes you step by step through lessons on programming. I'm trying to refresh my knowledge of HTML and JavaScript so I can start doing Google Tag Manager. And so I'm stepping through. I know HTML already, but I'm going through that fairly quickly. But it gives you progress along the way. It gives you badges for completing steps and everything. There's a little bit of gamification built into it, but very slick, very cool. HTML, JavaScript, jQuery, SQL, Java, PHP, Python, Ruby, even learning how to use APIs. So anybody who's in marketing, I think you need to know at least HTML, at least understand the structure, because it's really the fundamental infrastructure of how the web is built. So understanding that will help you understand how a lot of things work online. So there's that.
There is, and I came up with something that is called Seat Swapper, and it lets you buy and sell preferred seats on the plane from other passengers before you board. So you don't have to change your boarding pass, and you just swap seats once you're on the plane. At this moment, it is legal to do that. I don't know how long that will stay, because I would guess they really do kind of want to know where people are. But our friend Scott Scowcroft, who's watching right now, told me this evening, I did not know this, that there's voice typing in Google Docs. And that's pretty important to me because of my arm being in a sling, and I'm not that good at one-handed typing. So, yeah, it's really terrific. It's in Google Docs. We'll put a link in the show notes. And just so you guys know, if you haven't been with us before, we put the playlist with all the show notes into our blog post on BeyondSocialMediaShow.com. We timestamp this video so that you can click directly to any subject that we cover. And we have, 127 videos on our YouTube channel. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and we're on Google+, where we try to be everywhere that you guys are.
And you can get the links to everything that we talked about right now on the website at BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/127. You may get dual videos though, because there's a live version of this podcast on that page as well. So maybe you want to wait till the show's over, but all the links will be there. BL, you've got a project you want to talk about?
Well, pre-internet, I ran a company called Rent-A-Fetch.
Uh-oh, looks like we lost BL for the moment. Okay, so while BL's reconnecting, I'm going to tell you some statistics, marketing statistics. We usually wrap up the show with daily numbers. And the daily numbers for this today are B2B video SEO practices. And so this is among B2B marketers using video. These are the SEO practices they use. 66% of them optimize YouTube videos for search visibility, so that seems obvious. 54% optimize the metadata for the video. 43% enable metadata sharing for the video. That presumably is the social sharing metadata. 24% provide transcripts for their video. So YouTube has a function where you can upload a text transcript to your YouTube videos to make it more discoverable through search. So because search engines aren't really good at understanding what the contents of a video itself, you provide the text transcript, then Google, YouTube know what the actual content of the video is. And let's see, 22% of B2B marketers create separate pages for their video. 19% create video timestamps for their video. So what we do on YouTube for our podcast videos is we have a date timestamp for each section of the video as we're talking about throughout the podcast. So let's see, 13% add on-page markup for the video, and then finally 25% of B2B marketers do not optimize their video for SEO, which is entirely too bad because they're missing out. So looks like BL is not going to rejoin us. I'm going to wrap this up then. Thanks for watching the Beyond Social Media Show podcast, episode 127. Again, you can find links to everything that we talked about at beyondsocialmediashow.com/127. If you like the podcast and want to give us a review, I'd love to hear that. You can give us a review, find places to give us a review at beyondsocialmediashow.com/love. I'm David Erickson. You can find me on Twitter at @DErickson. I blog at e-strategyblog.com and creativepr.com/blog. Until next week, thank you for watching. Well, looks like we got BL here. I'll hold off for a second.
I accidentally, I'm not that good with one hand.
Yeah, clearly. So
I accidentally.
BL, I already went through the daily